What's up everybody? I hope you're doing well and welcome to my private practice office space. I almost never film in here anymore these days. So I know the title of this video might sound clickbaity, like you're probably thinking once we really get into the content of this video, it's not going to be true that I'm actually getting more things done now working so little compared to when I worked a lot more. And though it's true that I used to feel like I was getting more stuff done back when I was working 40 or even 60 hours a week, the reality is I'm getting way more stuff done now objectively working just 15 hours a week compared to when I was working a whole bunch more. So I'm going to explain how that all works in this video and give you some tips for how you could potentially get more stuff done while working less as well. If you're interested in that, then stay tuned. Welcome to Private Practice Skills. I'm Dr. Marie Fang, psychologist in private practice. I post videos offering tools I learned the hard way about starting and growing private practice so that you don't have to. And I know a lot of us who work for ourselves in private practice could use some hacks to help us get more stuff done in less time. So let me be clear, I'm not just talking about the fact that I'm earning more money now that I'm working fewer hours compared to when I worked more hours. That is also true, but I also already have videos covering that topic. So in this video, I'm talking about how I get objectively more actual stuff done in a single work week, working 15 hours a week compared to when I worked 40, 60, and sometimes more hours per week. And it's not like I've bottled up some magic sauce and figured out some new thing. This is a research phenomenon where if you work fewer hours, people tend to get the same or more amount of stuff done than if they're working a bunch of hours every single week. So I've not come up with some original concept, but I do absolutely see it playing out in my weekly schedule. And I think there's a direct correlation between working fewer hours causing me to get more stuff done. So in this video, I'll just go over how I make sense of that, why I think it's working for me, and offer some tips for how you can implement that in your life as well. Let me explain some reasons why I think I'm more productive when I work fewer hours. One big reason is that both of my businesses require a creative mindset in order to be productive. And in order to have a creative mindset, it requires space, at least for me, and I believe that that's consistent within the research. Speaking from experience, back when I was working 40 and 60 hours a week, whenever I sat down to script a video for private practice skills, I often would just hit this major writer's block. Sometimes I'd spend hours Googling around, trying to come up with video ideas and just feeling stuck. So that was a lot of time just to even come up with a video idea, let alone to script it. And now that I have all of this space in my schedule, by the time I sit down to script a video for private practice skills, I tend to have more ideas than I can even keep up with, and everything just flows out of me really quickly. So I can script multiple videos in 30 minutes when previously I'd spend 30 minutes just opening up my computer and trying to Google what even I could make a video about potentially. So in that sense, I'm getting way more stuff done in less time. There's something happening passively at a pre-conscious level. I'm not actively thinking about scripting videos when I'm not working. Somewhere in my brain though, it's passively doing it for me. This is also true as a therapist as well. I think the best therapists tap into the artistic side of the work that we do. There is the evidence-based structured stuff, but there's also a sense of abundance and emotional energy that comes from having space in my schedule, as well as more access to creative problem solving. I can access other ways to help clients when I'm working with them when I'm working fewer hours overall. So yes, even though one client hour is still one client hour, that client hour can be far more productive when I'm working fewer hours per week. Another reason why I think I'm far more productive working fewer hours is because of the scarcity mindset with the available productive hours. And I mean this in a positive, helpful way. If you sit down at your desk and you know you have 8 hours to get stuff done, well, maybe you're going to scroll through Facebook, see what your friends are up to on Instagram, take your time responding to an email, and then before you know it, it's lunchtime. But if you sit down and you know you just have your daughter's 30-minute nap to get stuff done, you are going to prioritize getting the most essential items done first and doing them efficiently and quickly, because who knows when you're going to be able to work again. It might not be till tomorrow. So because there is such a limited window for when I can actually get work stuff done, it creates this kind of healthy pressure and time crunch to get stuff done. There is no room to dilly-dally. here we go. And another reason why I think I'm more productive working fewer hours, related to what we've talked about already, is I just get stuff done faster. And that's because not only am I not procrastinating, but I kind of eliminate all the fluff that's not really adding value to my bottom line or my end goal. So as an example, back before I had kids and I felt like I had all the time in the world to get my tasks done, when I sat down to film a video for private practice skills, there was a phase when I went through experimenting with having 2 camera angles, which if you do it right, sure, it's cool. But it took me several extra hours. Setting it up took me probably an extra, half hour, and then editing it would double my editing time. It took so much longer, and some of that is because I'm kind of novice at it. But when I go back and look at those videos with the 2 camera angles, I realize having that second camera angle really doesn't add anything to my end goal of what I'm doing for private practice skills, and really was just several hours of work every single week that I did not need to do. It was effectively time wasted. So yeah, between scripting, setting up, and editing videos, now I can do that whole thing in like 2 or 3 hours, whereas just the editing part of videos alone back then could have taken upwards of 10 or even more hours. And I don't have 10 hours a week to edit a video right now, so I get stuff done faster. Another major reason why I'm way more productive now that I work fewer hours is it's much easier to stay in touch with my values. Back when I was working more than I had emotional availability to work, I would lose the forest for the trees, meaning I would just get so sucked into like nitty-gritty specific details of my businesses that ultimately didn't matter, and I would get super anxious about them. Like, how do I make sure that this Instagram post graphic is aligned so that, the text here makes sense with the text there, and maybe I'd spend an hour and a half worrying about this thing that really doesn't matter. And better to just skip that entire hour and a half creating a graphic for an Instagram post and spend it somewhere else where it aligned with my values better. So now that I have all this space in my schedule, I can always stay aligned with my values and circle back whenever a task presents itself in front of me. I can say, is this worth the amount of time it's going to take me right now? And if the answer is no, then I either modify it or get rid of it. Now, I know it is a privilege to be able to push the pause button, slow down how many hours I work, and still be able to earn the income that I want. But I think anyone working in a salaried type job or running their own small business, like a private practice, are probably spending time in their week that's not serving their business well. There's probably things you can do to work less and still get more stuff done. So here are a few tips to help you get more stuff done in less time. First, you want to be crystal clear on what your ultimate end goals are. It might be something as simple as wanting to make sure that you earn enough income to support your needs or your family's needs, or maybe there's some sort of dream you have for making a certain type of impact on the community, or maybe it's to see a certain number of clients per week in your practice, or making an exit from your current job even. So for example, my current goals are to be mom to my kids as much as possible while also taking care of myself. Second goal is to earn a decent income, and the third goal is to lean into my value of helping other people access and live out their best selves. So as you can see, once you know what your most important goals are, it makes it a lot easier to access the next step, and that's to identify what activities in your weekly schedule are aligning with those goals and what aren't. And oftentimes there are a lot of things that you're doing in your weekly schedule that don't necessarily align with your end goals. So I suggest you take a week to kind of collect data, observe how you spend your time, and at the end of each day, make note of what items in your schedule are worth your time towards your end goals and what items might not necessarily be serving your end goals. And then from there, I would just pick one item at a time to remove or adjust from your schedule each week. And the reason why I suggest you don't take a total overhaul of your schedule all at once unless it's called for because you're burned out is because if you change everything all at once, then you can't really know what caused any positive or negative changes. But if you just change one thing at a time, maybe you removed this thing from your task list this week, or you streamlined some process so that it's more simplified, then you can observe, did that really make a difference? You may find that there's a whole bunch of stuff in your schedule that is just not necessary towards your end goals. Well, I hope you found this video helpful however you're spending your primary productive hours every single week. And most importantly is that you're living a life that aligns with your values, if at all possible. Sometimes that does mean doing things we don't always enjoy, if it aligns with what we care about. And before we close, I'd like to thank TherapyNotes.com for sponsoring this video. TherapyNotes helps with scheduling, notes, and billing, and they have a HIPAA-secure telehealth platform built right in for all of their users. If you'd like to check out TherapyNotes, you can get 2 months to try it for free with no commitment just by clicking the link in the description of this video. Well, I hope you felt inspired to maybe reduce how many hours you work, but still get just as much stuff done, if not more. Let me know in the comments if there's something that you're going to experiment with dropping from your weekly task list in the comments below, and I hope it goes well for you. And until next time, from one therapist to another, I wish you well, working fewer hours compared to... Oh, I forgot to silence my phone. Marie. Rookie mistake.